Hey y'all, it's Renegayde. Let's spill some Reali-Tea on RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Season 7 is on, you lucky cows, so make sure you like and subscribe for more, because you're not going to want to miss a single drop of content this season. On this episode, the SS Tickety Boo is out for its maiden voyage, but just like the Titanic, did this season's talent show hit an iceberg? Let's talk about it. But before I do, let me introduce my co-host, and he's taking a break from swabbing our poop deck. It's QuackerrJack!
Hey, call me the first mate on this sinking disaster of a season.
Ugh, girl, you told me when this season started there was no such thing as the season 7 curse, but are you taking that back now? Because this season has been and continues to set a bar for the second lowest rated episode of the franchise, and this episode continues that trend.
Look, I don't take back what I said about the season 7 trend curse thing. I don't care about that. I don't think that's like a real given thing. I don't think it's like a set in stone kind of thing. And I don't even think that we necessarily have to only blame the cast or the production or the judges, because everyone's at fault here. But the production of this season specifically has been its biggest downfall, and I feel like we are just getting fed slop and expected to take it and say thank you. So, another episode. By the way, 3 episodes in out of 5 have consistently beaten the second place worst placed episode of UK Drag Race. So now that we've got a third episode taking the spot already in a season where we've only had 5 episodes, that's crazy. That really does show that it's going bad. It is going bad, no matter what you think or feel about it, kind of thing. You can like it, but the numbers are not lying right now, baby.
I was gonna ask because, like you said, the premiere started out at like a 5.5, right? We had a 5.4 acting challenge last week. Now we have a 5.3 for the talent show, which I feel like is usually one of the more higher ranked episodes, or at least it generally does not break this low. This was weird, especially considering so many girls went meta in this talent show too, which was it felt like we're breaking the fourth wall. The talent show for me now feels officially broken. But do you think we're going to get to the lowest rated episode here ever? Because technically, if we're looking at the actual IMDb ratings, right, the lowest rating episode ever in Drag Race UK is at a 4.6, and that's from the season 3 Snatch Game, which season 3 was terrible. Great winner, but terrible. And we haven't even gotten to the Snatch Game yet, Jack.
I mean, it is what it is. It's Snatch Game, so anything can happen.
Girl, is there any way this season can redeem itself at all, or is it just literally are we just now at the point where we're just finishing it because we started it and we're trying to be good,
it's irredeemable. You know what the craziest thing is too, actually, though? I want to say this. It's not like I'm saying, oh, the queens are getting robbed of everything or anything like that. Because if we're really looking at who has left thus far, it's all people that you knew weren't going to win the crown, right? From the get, you just knew they weren't going to. But
I mean, I will say Neon Bella had potential, and so did Viola. Viola especially had potential, but they hated her so much.
They hated Viola and Neon Bella. But here's my thing. I don't think Neon Bella was ever going to be crowned by RuPaul on UK Drag Race. That is just a fact.
I mean, agreed.
You can't tell me that was ever going to happen. And Viola, you know what? She could have been a good second placer, but I just never saw her as the winner. I just always felt like someone else was going to win. But I did kind of see her as a top 4 potential. So is it shocking that she went home so early? Yes. Is it shocking once you've watched the episodes and see how they have just used her and abused her? No, it's not shocking, because anything she did that was good, they were like, it was trash. Here's Elle, Vosque, and here's Catrin feelings, and that's who you should care about. And we're like, and that's no.
You can't bring up Catrin though, because they keep edging Catrin, and she says she hates being edged, which I'm like, girl.
Well,
enjoy that process, but Why are
Either
you hating her so
she's
like
got to
they have
have the
edged
most.
Catrin so much. They really have.
They have given Catrin so much screen times and so many confessionals. I don't have the stats. I don't know what they are, but you cannot tell me that her and like Paige 3 aren't getting like the most confessionals. 'Cause that's how I feel like I constantly see in confessionals. And I could be wrong, but every time I feel like I can expect at least 4 Catrin confessionals and at least like 2 or 3 from Paige.
Well, I
And
mean, we talked about it last week because like we felt like last week was a legitimate win for Catrin. They didn't give it to
yeah,
her. And I think we're probably gonna have similar feelings about how she did in the talent show, but they pushed her when she did not need to be pushed. And then in situations where she rightfully deserves some positive critiques, they don't give it to her. I'm just like, there is no sense to this season whatsoever. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no logic. I don't understand what the judges are trying to like if they had like a pregame plan, right? How much do they drink before they made it? Because it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. I'm so confused. That's the theme of this season is just confusion.
I mean, look, we might as well get into it and talk about the talent show because we
I
just keep
mean,
we just
let's
keep
before that
talking
though.
about this.
Actually, let me
Okay.
give you your moment, Jack. Because I want to talk about talent show too, but I also want to try to like get into this runway here first because like
Don't make
UK
me.
has been like the master of like having like great runway categories, but then just failing completely at the actual like result of what's happened here. And I don't think this week was any different. And this week's topic or category, sorry, was having it large, oversized fashion. And we talked about it, and I want to like this category more than I do, but after seeing what the girls in the UK gave us, I'm just like, I can't. I can't. I can't. I'm like, there's like 3 good looks here, maybe. Maybe.
I
Um, Jack, who are your tops or sorry, who are your yeses and your messes for this week's runway?
Let's start on a positive since we've been so negative. Um, Tayris Mongardi ate this category up. Everything was oversized clothing. It looked good on her. At first, I was like a little like, I'm not so sure how I feel about this. Like, it looks good. Does it really fit? And then I was like, yes, every piece is oversized, so it's good. It makes sense. And then I looked over and we saw Silllexa, and I was like, I wanted someone to do something like this. Like, it was really big, out of the box kind of thing. And to be fair, the other top 3 for me was Chai T Grande. She did a great job. I just was kind of like, I'm not sure I necessarily thought the execution was perfect, and I was kind of a little upset with the shoe. But after looking at everything else that came on the stage, basically I was like, damn girls, you killed it. um, Bones' outfit could have been better if we never got the reveal and she had just come out in just the oversized necklace. Quite honestly, that would have been more groundbreaking than taking a jacket off to reveal almost nothing underneath. We've seen that 1,000 times. But we have some of the laziest fucking drag I think I've seen in a while, in my opinion, in our bottom 3 for me. And I want to start with Bonnie and Clyde. It is a dress covered up by a piece of red fabric that was then, I want to say, hooked to. I'm not exactly sure how it came off. A long piece of red fabric that became a runway. So it was a great idea for like a red carpet thing, but it was
Right.
the laziest thing I think I'd ever seen. And this
I
is
kind of
my
want to defend it a little bit because I love kind of the idea of her like unhooking the back and then it coming
yeah.
off. I wish there was some sort of more, maybe like a slight like camp factor because I feel like if like Venus Deluxe had this category, right, and she did something similar to that, there would be some sort of aspect of her like accidentally stepping on her dress, and that would be how like it came off, and you'd be a little bit more like, oh wow, because right, like there's a little bit more like thought put into it of like the presentation. And
Well,
I
like,
feel like if she sold it to us a little bit better, I don't think this would be in your bottom 3. But I get why it is because it is. It is pretty lazy at the end of the day.
well,
How
and
she actually did it.
let's talk about it because I've seen this done before by many a queen and whatnot. And like we've had people do very different types of train looks and everything like this. So it's a long ass train. It's just a piece of fabric basically. It didn't look bad. It was just lazy. And what she could have done, which would have made a lot more sense to me, is she could have come out in a red dress that all comes off into the dress that she had on. Imagine that she has a whole other dress underneath, and it didn't be anything crazy. It was just like kind of simple, like her dress kind of was, but it still looked nice. That is way more acceptable because then her whole outfit comes off and it's a new outfit, and you're like, oh shit,
Hmm.
and now it's the red carpet. That would have been like way better, and we would have
I
been like,
get
yeah,
it.
that's great. But then we have Catrin feelings, and she did the oversized thing. Okay, she fit the category. I get it. But I hate when a bitch just puts on like a fat suit and becomes like an old fat woman kind of thing as the like objective. Because all she did was like essentially get that like gaudy ass jewelry, make it really big, put on a nasty like white grayish hair and some oversized glasses, and look like some granny down the street. This is not fashion.
I mean,
Okay, this
Catherine has
wasn't
not been the
fashion.
fashion queen really at all this
No,
season.
she hasn't, but
So
it just wasn't it. I was like, this isn't really like anything. Like this is bad. And I also just feel like it's again lazy, and it's just taking such an easy way out to do this. And it's so stupid. It wasn't fashion, and oversized just making someone fat. Like, get over it. I'm done with it. But
yeah, I'm kind of over that trope too, and I think it's like we're 2025, y'all. Like wanted like she who will not be named, who did the fat suit in All Star 3. I feel like was like the point where it's like, okay, we can let fat suits go, y'all. So I'm just like, I don't know. Do you think? Actually, I'll bring this up later. I'll bring this up later. Go to your worst of the week.
okay, my worst of the week, and I know I've hated on her before, but Elle Vosque. Okay, let's talk about it. She is a like little doll that is the ballerina windup, but if you take off that wind up piece on the back of her, it is just a piece of clothing she would have worn. It is. It is 100% just a piece of clothing that she added a wind up to the back of and said, "Hey, look, I'm a doll that's now big sized." No, 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 no. You're not. Your hair is small. The puffy shoulders aren't even that big, and you have on just a lame ass like normal size like skirt dress thing here. So she looks very Northern European, like the ballerina thing that she's going for, and she just said, "You know what? Sparkly turning little key piece on the back. Done." And I was like, it doesn't look that good. She looked better in her talent show. And it doesn't really fit the category because if you take that one piece off, and I know that's unfair to say, if you take off one piece, but it's literally just an outfit that she put that on. Like, this was not made for that. Like, everyone else's, at least I think, was made for the category. This looks like she's straight up pulled this out of her closet and just added the thing on the back.
I
Like,
mean, that's kind of
it's so
felt about like
uninspired.
most of Elle's looks that they're very
Correct.
uninspired, but you know, the thing that bothers me the most about this look is the fact that she has her thumb with a purple fingernail, and then the rest of her fingers are white. I don't know why this bugs me so much, but I'm just like, it really does. Other than the fact that it looks like she had this from the closet, you're right, and then put like the construction paper turning piece on her back. I just
To be fair, it's made out of
like
more than construction paper.
her face looks good though. She's beat well,
Um,
right? She has a good beat.
I
I want to say.
mean, yeah, she's sure. I mean, like, if we're gonna talk about makeup, like, maybe some of the people on the top should have been clocked a few points, like Chai or maybe Tayris. Tayris looks beautiful, but they've given her a makeup note again, and I get it, I see it. Chai's makeup could be better, but this is about just the category overall, and I would normally get into the makeup, but there's so much bad and so much like low here that I don't even have time to get into that
I
because
mean, you
everything is
are
just so
right.
rough.
You are very right. There. I feel like there's like. I think I'm just confused. 'Cause I'm like, if you're gonna take the time to pay the detail to your fingernails. Why aren't you doing that to the rest of this outfit? Because I feel like there's some other places where she, like, even maybe like her shoes could have had like a little pop of pink or purple or something else to it. The wind up could have had a little pop of pink or purple to it. I don't know. There's just disconnect from the actual outfit to the idea that she's doing.
So I'm very disappointed in a lot of the queens because oversized fashion is something that is seen all over. And not that I'm like a huge fashion girl. I know I talk about it the most, but like oversized fashion can be found in like almost anyone's collection at some point. So it's not like there's a lack of references or a lack of ideas. If you go online and Google oversized fashion, within 5 seconds you will have tens of thousands of pictures for like ideas of what you want to do. And if you want to make it your drag aesthetic, put in another word that makes sense with your drag aesthetic. But like it was lazy, people were dumb, it was boring. Um, it made me mad. So like the people at the top were just a breath of fresh air though, because they all did something that was fun and different. Like Tayris was more fashionable, but Silllexa and Chai Tea were still fashionable, but they were actually more campy, and it was very fun.
Not you
But a
saying
lot of the
Chai was in
girls,
the top.
yeah, Chai was in the top for oversized fashion. That was easy.
Oh, in the top for oversized fat. I thought you were talking about
Yes.
the talent show. I was very much so
No.
prepared for you to do one of those like transitions when I wasn't ready to transition Jack. So I was like,
No.
oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I will agree. She was in the top for oversized fashion, but probably not much so in this talent show. So um we could kind of like, do you want to go one by one through them, or should we talk about the safe girls first? Let's talk about the safe girls first here. Um,
I didn't find a
because
single one, but okay.
yeah, I mean, truth be told, yeah, none of these performances in general, I think will ever go on anybody's like best talent show list ever. And
It was
I was saying
awful.
earlier, like there were too many girls that did like so many meta commentaries on this. I felt like I was watching like Scream for drag queens on the talent show, you know? Let's start with the safe girls here because this week our safe girls, Bonnie and Clyde, Catrin Feelings, and Sally were our safe girls this week. And I'll be honest, I thought one of them could have been in the top. I thought one of them could have been the bottom. I think Bonnie was perfectly fine being safe,
We could have been
but
at the bottom too.
I get why you would have put her in the bottom. But like Bonnie, let's start with Bonnie because she did like a mixture of drag races past, I guess, and pulled out like a bunch of different talent show items that everybody else has done, and there were some smart moments in there, I guess I could say, like when she like pretended to jump off the box and then you hear the ankle cracking noise, the
The
bone
one
breaking
good
noise.
part
Like
of the
I thought that
performance,
was fun. That was cute. I did like the ending. I do think the ending was. I didn't expect her to actually do anything. Obviously, I think all of us were expecting her to not do anything. I think that was the biggest downfall of her performance is that she was talking so much up about everything that everybody else has done, but we knew she wasn't going to give us anything actually original. So
it wasn't a talent.
I don't hate it. I thought it was cute. It was fine, but like I also like I look back at other people's talent shows, right? That people hated, like the Mistress doing the drug infomercial kind of thing, and I'm like, I felt like that had so much more
That was
perspective,
so funny.
and maybe we're just Mistress stands too, because I think that could be part of
No,
it too.
it's not
I
just
don't know,
that.
I was into that. This felt like it had a direction, but I just wanted it to go more places than it actually did. You know?
Okay. This was a track of talk singing where she just said, I have nothing to do, so let me talk about everyone else. And then I will put some little gaggy thing in this box that they can't see, so I'll be ready to throw it out and be like, oh, look, I made a thing for it. And I was like, okay, so when's the talent gonna come? The box part and the breaking the ankle thing, yes, that was clever. That was smart in the track. And the second best thing was when all the lights went black, they took immediate cut from her so then she could get something else on herself. So when the lights came back on, it looked like she had done something, but during the time that the lights had been cut. But let's not act like they didn't do multiple takes for this kind of thing, right? We know that
We will
they
never know, Jack. We will never
that
know.
hula hoop was nowhere else on stage, and even if it was, the time in which she was cut was so long. I was like, that's like a good 5 seconds, baby. You could have done a lot in that time.
The fact
But
they cut to
also,
like the judges and then to the girls, and it felt like we were on the judges for like 5 seconds, and then like girls for 5 seconds. That's actually a
it
lot of
it was
time
it
in
was a
like a
very
talent show when they
sloppy.
have 60 seconds, right?
It was sloppy and boring and overproduced and overdone. And I've seen a girl do this a million times. It's not a talent. If your talent is lip syncing, that's great, but that's what your talent is, not what this is. And in fact, it was just boring. And I think it's really funny that they've told other girls that they've expected these things from her already. I expected this exact thing from Bonnie and Clyde, and I got exactly what I got from Bonnie and Clyde. I was like, it's just going to be one of these things, and it was. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. So, you know,
I
let's
get
move
that
on to a
though.
different
Let's
girl.
talk about Catrin feelings actually, because she was the girl that I feel like of all the safe girls could have actually been in the top. And the only commentary that they kind of like try to throw on her was someone saying that her like dress should have been lined, which yeah, it should have. But are we really expecting Catherine to come out here in some amazing fashion? I'm not. So I was there for what she was giving, and I feel like maybe it's I'm having a hard time because I feel like I actually enjoy Catherine when she's not being pushed by the judges. And I'm like, why
Exactly.
is this the second week in a row now where I'm like, Catherine should have been in the top, and you have sidelined her for whatever reason, especially for this winning performance, which should have been a safe performance for sure. But I'm very confused. Like I'm extremely confused what they're doing with Catherine. I don't think they've ever done this before where they've really stuck somebody in the top multiple weeks when they don't deserve it. And then the weeks where they actually deserve it, they just throw them to the wolves and are like, you're safe.
Honestly, it is strange because Catherine's performance was, I thought, really good. Her outfit sucked, but her performance was funny, and it was actually something that I thought was a pretty good talent because let's be real, she commanded the stage. We all were looking to what she was going to do next, and a couple of things she did were really funny. I will say the last trick about the ring thing was the least funny,
Yeah. It did
but
end on a really
it ended
bad
on a
note compared to
lesser
how
note.
everything happened before it. Yeah.
But at the same time, every time she made it happen, she like tricked someone or did it differently, right? To do it. And it was like, it was funny because it was a planned routine and it went extremely well. So, in that regard, I thought Catherine could have been on the top because honestly, hers was one of the most fun and entertaining things to actually watch on the talent show. In fact, it was one of the only talents I saw.
Well, speaking of talents, let's talk about Sally Trademark
God
because
damn it.
I was waiting for her to be in the bottom three, and then she was announced as safe. And I mean, at the time, and like in the order of things being presented to us, she was like maybe like fourth, fifth. I want to say she was early. She was kind of early, right? So while everything was happening, I'm like, I'm fine with it. I'm okay. I'm like, I like the fact that she's doing something, but then like, and there's like an audio track behind it where she's allowed to do whatever she's doing on stage, right? And have that be something slightly different than what she's doing, like outwardly or projecting in the actual show. So I was okay with that, but then like the payoff just being the like RuPaul is an egg doesn't make any sense to me unless we're going to count in the last like 5 seconds of this whole show. Which like if I'm going to be real, if it's a situation where we're going to talk about the eggs, that should have been one of maybe the first things that she referred to, and then maybe had like something else where she like pulled out an egg or ate an egg or something. I don't know, something else, but like there
Remember how I
what
said
we went
lazy?
through to get to what she gave us, it doesn't make any sense to me as someone who is trying to do a performance that's going to entertain the audience because there's just no through line. There's nothing here that makes any sense as far as the performance because like I said, you could just literally for Sally's watch the last 10 seconds and that's the performance. What were we doing for 50 seconds before that shit, girl? What were we doing? I don't know.
Well, she had to paint that awful picture. But here's the thing about Sally's. It could have been good if she could actually paint, right? It could have been fine. The track that she didn't have to lip sync to and she just made faces to the whole time and was like, let me act differently depending on what I'm saying in the track at the time was like, it was really lazy. It was like somehow we took a lip sync a track that we all thought was like, that's not really a talent. Come on, you're doing this every night. Which, okay, so lip sync is a talent, right? But we're tired of seeing it. She took that concept and made it even less talented somehow. And then she decided, you know what? Let me though like paint a picture. The best part about her whole performance, in my opinion, was when she acted out that she was so stressed from the anxiety, she ripped off her hair and then turned around and showed us that it was the RuPaul egg like on her head, essentially, kind of thing. Like her head was an egg or whatever it was. And I was like, you drew RuPaul as a boiled egg after you got to that point in the last 15 seconds of your performance or whatever, right? But you didn't paint well. You didn't lip sync. So you just pretty much stood there doing a painting that anyone in like first grade or above could do. And then you presented it and act like I'm funny. And I was like,
Yeah, I was
I was
waiting for like even like a Manila. Like, I don't even think Manila
Manila
Luzon's
Luzon. That is
painting.
exactly what I
Her
thought
her
of.
painting was not even that great, right? And if you even look back on Manila's, and I'm sorry if I'm calling you out for this, Manila, but you can see the outlines of where she's supposed to paint the things on the painting before she actually does them. So, like the fact that I'm so much more impressed with Manila's performance and Sally pulled out this BS, like I'm just like this is it was supposed to be a comedy performance, but it didn't land for me. This would have been in the bottom three, possibly bottom two for me. Again, for like the second week in a row. But the issue with Sally is she is bringing some of the better fashion for this season, if we could call it that, I guess. So I get why they're maybe not trying to throw her to the wolves immediately, but I'm just like, can we at least like put her in bottom three? Can we put her in the bottom three at least one time so we give
Well,
her
no,
some
they love
actual critiques? Give her
not
some
till the end.
critiques.
Not till
Help
the
her
end.
get better, please. Dear
They don't
Lord.
need to. They don't want to. But
Ah,
here's the real thing though. When you look at what Manila Luzon did, she did kind of similar to what Sally had done, and that she acted out to like I guess like kind of a song or whatever. But here was the payoff for Manila Luzon's. She actually painted something, and she painted it upside down. And during the time, she takes a very well known classical music piece, and when it starts to have these different like da 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 like moments, like she gets really energetic. She starts to run around the stage, and like she is doing the strokes
and the
to the
most
beats, like
important part, Jack, is we
the
actually get to
reveal.
see the painting. No, we actually get to see the
Oh,
painting because she's actually painting it in front of us. Like we get to
and
see what
the
she's
painting is
actually
good,
doing. I
even
won't
if the
say it's
paint's up.
amazing.
Well, no, it's
It's
not
not bad.
amazing,
It's
but
not bad. But like
it's
I said,
good.
there were patterns on like that painting on the
I
sheet for her
don't
to
care.
do it.
That's
Which I
still
don't mad. I'm not mad for her doing it. I'm not
it
mad
was
for her doing it.
impressive.
It was for the time frame that she had. I thought it was amazing. So like comparing that to Sally, like obviously like I
She
think
still had to do all the
that's just
strokes
mean
and
for
stuff
Sally. That
perfectly.
is just mean for Sally. So like
I mean,
let's you know
Sally. So Sally did nothing. Let's continue.
yeah, let's move on. Do we want to talk about the tops first or the bottoms? Because I can't.
Just
Let's
do
talk about the
first.
tops, I guess, because we have bottoms and they'll be eliminated. So let's talk about the tops here first. And I want to actually. This is the one I've been wanting to talk about for a hot minute, and we just haven't got to it because of things. But let's talk about Elle Vosque because if we're going to talk about talent show performances from now on, I think we have officially reached like the new midline in performances because she's officially like meta the meta. I don't know if she did as well as I wanted her to do. I don't think the lyrics of the song were particularly that funny. I don't think she danced super well to it. But the idea of the fact that there's so much commentary about talent shows just being about lip syncing dancing numbers, and she did that. I'm kind of like I'm feeling very conflicted because I've hated on her all season. I think it's a smart idea, but the execution for me, I wouldn't have put in the top. But I do think it is worth saying something about because I really hope we get to a point where we could actually get a lip or a lip sync free talent show in the United States. And that's what I hope this performance will like officially like, okay, you want to do an original song? Think again because it's not really a talent. It's sort of a talent, but not really a talent.
Look, Elle Vosque did a original number of a song making fun of original numbers. Was it good? Yes. Was it extraordinary? No. Was it fun to watch? Yeah. Was it the
Eh,
best? Was it the best of the night? Definitely not. Was it
based off what we
entertaining?
got for this talent show,
It
maybe.
was fun and entertaining compared, especially compared to the rest of the shit. But I
Yeah, we
mean,
have to look at this talent show on like the basis
it
of
was a
talent
very low
shows.
high. It was a
I'm thinking
very low high.
I've realized like this could be like one of the worst talent shows I think we've ever had. And
No,
that's why
it really is.
this rating is so low and I'm
I'm
like
surprised the
mad
rating is
now.
so high for what it was, honestly. I thought it should be lower than the worst episode ever, personally. But I think that Elle Vosk secures a spot in the top because it's easy for them to want to push that and prove that she's been having a very consistently good showing on Drag Race, and that will be her when she gets to the top four, that will be her thing. But anyways, the talent was fine. It was a lip
I'm
sync.
really so
Um,
disappointed when Elle's in the top four. I'm sorry.
uh,
I'm
it's
planning ahead
it
and
is
I'm
what it
like
is.
Elle having a win and Catrin not, yet they've rigged more for Catrin than they have for Elle.
I don't know if I would say they've
Yeah.
rigged more, but it's I just let's just move on to the next person because L
Yeah.
kind of deserves her spot, but not really. But like,
Let's talk about the other two because we have somebody that won the challenge and somebody that I think maybe should have won the challenge if we're really thinking about it. And let's talk about the person that actually won the challenge first here. Miss Silllexa Diction. And she does a burlesque number, and she is basically kind of decided that she's going to be an alien burlesque performer and pull off boobs from all parts of her body, like her hips and her head. And RuPaul is just dying laughing this whole entire time. And I felt like it was a little predictable. I felt
it
like
was extremely
we saw it
predictable.
coming. Like as soon as I saw it the
Yep.
first time she revealed like the boob on her hip, this was giving me like Asia O'Hara giving the butterflies number where it's like, well, everything she has is going to be the same butterfly coming out here. So everything you're doing is going to be the same thing. And that's what
Let's
she
not
did.
compare it to
I
that
will
kind of
say that
thing.
her like revealing like the helmet part with boobs on her head was that was campy. That was campy. But there was also like a way of the way she was doing it that I know she was trying to be an alien, but I wasn't. It felt awkward to me, like extremely awkward
I
to like
don't think
her.
she
Like,
was trying to be an alien.
you don't think so? Because that's what she said that she was
I
trying to do. Like, so she like walked to like weirdly to like the left part of the stage and like pulled out one thing.
Was she supposed to be an alien? I thought she was supposed to be like an AI kind of like robot in the future because that's what the music was giving me. But either way, the it was just like, hey, I'm gonna pull off a boob, and this is what burlesque is gonna be like in the future. And I was like, okay, so like, yeah, cool. And everything was just boobs, and everyone kept eating it up. And I was like, she didn't really do anything
Do we think
except
she won based off the challenge and her past performances? Because
no.
I feel like Selexa has always done well in these challenges, and her runway I think was probably for me the best. I'm just confused why they threw her in the bottom last week, only to give her the win this week.
Look, I'm not going to try to figure out what the judges are really trying to do because at this point, I don't know who's doing what, but they need to be fired. Um, Selexa did fine. Selexa is in the same boat as Elle for me, where I was like, she did okay in the talent portion, I guess, because it was all right. But I would say that Al probably did better in the talent, but Selexa murdered her on the runway. Not that they ever use the runway for anything, anyways, even in the runway
And
challenges.
unless Neon Bella is there, then they'll definitely do it.
Well, unless Neon
Um,
Bella's there, then
but
they'll say Neon Bella, you're in the bottom for this, even though you won the challenge.
I think
Okay,
we're
but
probably both in agreement. So of who maybe the top performer is of the night. I
the
wasn't
time
necessarily feeling
performance.
it that way initially, because I was. I'll be honest. I watched this at like 1 a.m. like trying to fall asleep in the morning. So I fell asleep during all the personal drama, which I'm sure there was nothing story wise going on because you haven't stopped me from moving anything forward. So I'm not worried about that
Nope.
part. But like I woke up when Elle started and she opened the show, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna very much so pay attention during everything. And then I fell asleep during judging, and then I woke up like during the lip sync or like the actual like judging part of it. So I got to see who won it and all of everything that happened after that part. But like, um, I was I want to be say I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, but I'm glad they actually finally gave Tayris Mongardi a top spot when she deserved it because her performance was really good. I will say there was a weird disconnect, but I think that's just because of the lack of budget that they're actually putting into these talents because the way she was dancing to me felt like a little bit like Mirage when she was doing her talent, where it's like we don't know what the baseline performance is, right? If she had backup dancers, if they could afford to actually pay for backup dancers in the UK, then like it would make more sense because she's doing these random choreographed moves, but like everybody else is doing them too, right? So it would translate a little bit more of is this is actual choreography versus her just kind of just up here doing whatever, and that's kind of a little bit what it kind of translated to. So I can't say this was like my favorite talent performance ever, but like the fact she used those thighs to crush a watermelon, I'm like, oh dear lord, I'm scared for myself if I ever get those legs on my shoulders. But that's a Catrin problem and not a me problem. So as far as everything goes, yeah, I think she could have easily won this, especially based off of the fact that she had one of the better runway looks. But I also think I don't want to count Silllexa out because I think Silllexa was probably like maybe a little bit more ahead of me on the runway than Tayris was. But again, who takes runways into consideration? Tayris should have won this easily, without a doubt, because
Tayris
she
is
had
the only
a
correct winner.
viable runway and an amazing talent.
There was no one else who showed as much talent tonight than Tayris Mongardi, and the problem is that again, it is a lip sync song, but this was the most engaging lip sync song. This was the most fun lip sync song. This was her really showing us who she is. This is everything that they've ever asked for in a talent show and more. It was like she had a good reveal. She did a actual fun dance, and I counter the point of the backup dancers just because I think certain songs like hers and Mirage's would not benefit much from a backup dancer because sometimes the pieces don't need other people there, especially like what you're doing, like what they're doing. But I think another
It
thing
doesn't,
is
but I think it would give it a little bit more, like I said, because it felt like a little bit of her choreography was a little random. It would have given a little bit more credibility. You know what I mean? Like it to the point where it's like she's not
I
just up here making things up as she's going along. She's actually doing something that she planned, that she is
I don't
wanted
think
from
that
the
she.
beginning, moving on. So I
I
think
don't know.
that's my
I
only
don't
thing.
think that's. I don't think it's fair to say
It
that
might not
though.
be
When
fair, but I that's how I feel.
That's yeah, I just don't think it's a fair criticism in the fact that like other people we don't know if they would have done the exact same thing or not. Like but when I look at what she did and how much she showed us and how funny and entertaining she was the only person that gave me a really like fun talent that I was like I want to see more from Tayris Mongardi. Like she was my number one and I was like, this bitch did it. The it of it. But I'm not surprised she didn't win because Tayris Mongardi is black. And on the UK season, RuPaul will never. So, unfortunately for
Sorry,
Tayris,
why are you insulting RuPaul's Caucasian Royale like this? How dare you?
I don't know why I would insult Caucasian Royale. My bad. Let's continue because Tayris was
Right.
the winner and unjustly wasn't given a badge because they probably don't plan on keeping her the whole time. The only reason that they're making her anything now is because now that Neon Bella's left, she's the only like person of color left, and they're like, now we gotta talk about it. Well, after the end of this episode, she is because
Mm,
bye bye Chai. But
yeah,
sorry
let's talk
Chai,
about this bottom three in this talent show because I think the bottom two is correct. I don't know how I feel about the
I don't feel
bottom
that way.
third person, but
No, that's
yeah,
bullshit.
let's just talk about page three here because
Our
like
other
she
top
did give
three.
us like a live singing performance, which I thought was good. I don't know. I don't know. There was something weird about just how I don't know if it was edited weird. I don't know if she set it up weird. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would have put her in the bottom three, but I don't know if I would. I definitely don't think I would have put her in the top three. I'll be very honest. I just, I, I don't know. I'm
What?
experiencing a very weird disconnect with her, and I don't think it's because of what she actually did in the talent show. I'm very convinced that like Paige 3 is a great performer. I do think that. I think she's going to be one of the more popular queens from the season once the season's over. But I don't know. I was not convinced by whatever edit they showed me in this talent show. So if it's a situation where they edited like her worst performance of the two between them, because she wasn't singing terribly, but I was also wasn't like impressed by her voice, if
That
that
was the point.
makes sense.
Yeah,
But
that was
also like
the point.
if you're doing singing as your talent, then I want to be impressed by your voice.
But
And
it
it was
wasn't
more of a
singing as
dancing
a
number,
talent.
and I think she would, well, I think she would have done better if she would have just done an original number and just lip sync to it and just was able to show off her dancing abilities versus what she did, right? Because it depends like a Scarlet Envy UK versus World 2 thing where you're trying to like throw like 18 different things into your talent show and then you don't actually show anything. So I don't think she should have been in the bottom three, but I don't know if I agree with you. She was one of the best three tonight.
She was easily top three because, and I will say this, her singing wasn't like the talent. The talent was to start off as like her singing as like a, oh, I'm so over this. It was the beginning of the thing. It was a campy little thing she was doing. So the talent was never to be like just the singer. It was more so to really like perform. And I think that it's unfair to hold her as like a singer because that wasn't the talent. And in fact, if anything, I think it shows a little bit of like the judges judging her like this is so unfair because it's if someone like Sally had done this, they would have eaten it up. If Elle Vosque had done
Okay,
this, they would
Jack,
have eaten it up.
I'm just gonna stop you really quick.
Huh.
Why does the official RuPaul's Drag Race UK7 wiki say that page three part of her talent is live singing? Yes, half of it is lip syncing too, but it does
Yes,
say
but
part of her
the
talent is
live
live singing.
the
And I
live
don't think
singing
the live
isn't like the
singing
main part.
wasn't at, well, I don't get why you would include that if you
It's
don't
a
at least
comedy
have
piece. It's a
it.
literal
Well, okay,
comedy
then
piece.
there
She
doesn't
straight up
say
makes it a
anything
comedy
on
piece.
here that it says that it's a comedy piece, right? We're supposed to look at this, and I think the wiki is
It is
saying
a
too, as a
transition.
very straight up, like she is trying to actually be a pop star at this moment. And like I said,
Even if singing was
they
bad, she
edited
didn't
it
do bad
out.
singing.
Maybe they edited it out. The fact that she was trying to like pull like a faux Katy Perry situation, right? That's not what I got from the performance. That might be what you read into it, but that's not what I got
Bottom
from this
line,
performance.
regardless of if it was singing or not, it wants to be included in there. Her voice wasn't bad. She didn't miss the notes. She did exactly what she was supposed to on the track, where she went from like singing like this one way and be like, I'm tired of this. And then she like switched it up immediately because it was a campy transition. Regardless of anything else, she sang well. She performed well. The only reason she's in the bottom is because they said, you don't wear a lot of clothing and you've been doing the same silhouette, which I don't disagree with. But she could have easily been in the top three and been given the same goddamn critique. But also, other girls aren't getting called out for the same thing. And I think that's very hypocritical of the judges because, like I said, some of these other girls, like Bonnie and Clyde, like Sally, did exactly things that I thought they would do. And they are doing the same things over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, so we're gonna talk about it? No? Okay, got it. Like, there's a lot of favoritism, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of unfair judging. Like, there's no way that Paige could have ever made the bottom three if you were judging this fairly.
I would agree with that.
Even if you didn't like what she did or didn't think it was like that talented, it was by far more talented than like four other people.
Yeah, I like I said, I wasn't as impressed as I feel like I should have been when it comes to live singing. So I'm like, if you're going to sing, you need to blow me out of the box. So I'm sorry, but I felt like the rest of her performance was good enough to the point where she should have been safe. I don't understand why she was bottom three. One
Hey,
queen.
Alaska Thunderfuck was in the top for her singing. So
I mean, it was a cute song that she kind of sang though. I kind
no,
of
it
liked
wasn't. It was
Alaska's talent
bad,
show.
and the
I don't
singing
care.
was bad.
It was that bad. She was
It's a
cute
different
too.
standard, then that's hypocritical. It's a
But
different standard.
whatever. Anyway, but we could talk about that when we review All Stars 2 again, maybe in the future. But
No hate.
let's talk about Bones. because we've been talking about Bones all season, and when I half woke up in my slumber, being very confused about what was happening. I wouldn't say confused, but like you know what I mean. Like you wake up and you're like, "Oh, what's happening?" And you're like, "Oh, I was watching the show. Okay, hang on, let me re-put everything together." I was like, "Okay, Bones in the bottom two. She's lip syncing against Chai." I'm like, "Okay, this bottom two makes sense because I think Bones gave like Bones' talent shows has got to be one of the weirdest. Like I felt like I was like you know those times you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel like you're having like a fever dream or something, but it's actually happening, but like it doesn't feel right because you're like half asleep. That's how I felt because Bones was like number two in this, right? And the whole time she was, I remember hearing her in the background as I was like half falling asleep, being like, "Oh, I'm just gonna talk shit about my original number." And then she was like, "Oh, well, Elle's doing an original song about an original number," and then I have to go right after her, and I was like, "Hey, that does suck. That really does suck." But yeah, I Bones didn't give it to me in this talent show. Even if we're going like the performance wasn't bad. Like I was entertained to what I was seeing, but I yeah, I couldn't hear her. I don't know if it was the mixing in this audio track that she submitted beforehand, if this was something on the editors that maybe so they could throw her in the bottom two. I don't know, but it was giving me Roxy from All Stars 9 when it's like what is this music piece that you're submitting to in this talent show? Like this is not finished. Who did you pay to do this? Because you need to get your money back. Like they sabotaged you with the mixing of this. So like I don't know how to feel about it because couldn't I don't feel like we ever got the full experience of it, right?
We didn't get the full experience. I could hear her fine, but I was also like I'm watching it and like on my monitor and streaming it to other people, so like I don't know if that plays a factor in it, but that wasn't my biggest issue.
No, no, it played no factor into it because I was listening to it by myself. Like I said, like I woke up specifically for the talent show, and I was I was slightly in bed. My laptop's like on a table, like right in front of my bed, and I had it up pretty high, like to the point where I heard the RuPaul dun 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 dun, right, and that's what woke me up. So I was like, okay, but like I could not hear anything from Bones at all whatsoever.
I mean, I didn't have that issue. My issue with her performance was more so about her not being in it and her lack of energy, even though she was still doing the choreographed moves. I was like, I need you to actually be present here. And I know you're like in your head, but like that does not make a good performance, right? And so for me, I was like, the track might not be like the best produced, obviously. Like the music is too loud, but I don't think that that necessarily was like my issue with her performance. I just think Bones got in her head. She felt like, and I don't know the reason why she felt so, I guess, critical. Why she was comparing herself to anyone else, and especially of all people, Elle Vosque. I mean, maybe it's because of the
Or
judges.
anyone on this fucking cast, honestly, Bones. You don't need to
Well,
do
I
this to
I
these
think
girls,
I
other than
think
page
Bones.
three, maybe.
I think there are queens on this cat. I don't think it's fair to like discredit everyone, but I just think that there are
I'm
queens
not
on this
discrediting
cast.
them. I just feel like
Well,
Bones has
kind
showed
of.
us so much in these first few episodes that I don't feel the need for her to feel like she's not self confident in anything. Like that's what she's giving us, right? Like she gives us that queen that cannot be moved, and that's what I was buying into these first two episodes. And so to see like a completely different shift in her this episode, just based off of the talent show and the fact that she had an original number, I was like, does she know that like the quality of the track wasn't as good? Like there has to be something there for her to be
Well,
falling this hard and obsessing this much over the talent show portion of
it
it.
was the content of the song. She constantly was like, they want to see me do these things, and my song feels like very much how I came into the competition, and they don't want to see that. So she was like, this is a really bad time for this because they're going to think that I'm stumbling backwards. And she got in her head about this real quick about it. She just kept
I'm not judging you
disregarding
about
everything
that.
she
It's
did.
like that makes sense. But do you think that she had the reason to feel that way? Because I don't understand where that's coming from. Like, when did they tell her they need to show her? Like, she never has gotten any sort of any issue with her versatility. Like, she's
Well, she's
very clearly
gotten.
shown that she's good at performing, and they've
We
she's
don't
had
think that.
weird. Well, she's had the like she had that weird look, kind of Woodley look that she actually won a challenge in, and they gave her good critique. Or did she win a challenge in it? I don't remember. I don't know what's happening anymore. But
She she got critiques from them about how she's too much trying to just be Soho, and then her whole song is about how to be a Soho girl. So that was the big thing
well,
that she was like,
I
"Oh
meant
my god."
prior to this. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
she ever
she's
got
gotten
any like
yeah,
Soho
she's gotten critiques
critiques.
about this. Yes, she has. She's gotten critiques about like how they say you just need to show us you. You don't feel like you're being completely this, and like don't worry so much about being like perfect and blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay. So now she's like worried because that's she's gotten the critique before, so she's just in her
I'd
head
go
about
back and
it.
rewatch and prove you wrong, but I don't wanna rewatch this season
But sis, I
anytime
was watching
soon.
it.
So I'll just believe you and take your word for it. But please comment in the bottom if Jack's lying to me and gaslighting me. So that would make me feel
I'm
very bad.
not. They
Anyway.
have said something to her about Soho.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Did we
the
think that
point.
Bones was gonna be bottom two this episode? Like, cause like I I'm
Um,
very gagged that she
the bottom three
was.
was rigged because they put all three of the Soho queens together so that way they can get drama. But outside of that, I thought she was going to be initially because she was second in the line order. But then after I saw other people's talents, I was like, well, I'm not going to put her in the bottom two at least because that was wild. If anything, I would have put probably Bonnie or
Sally.
well, Chai was guaranteed to be in the bottom. Chai was the number one, like
Yeah,
worst
and
of the
we'll talk
worst,
about her in a moment. But
and then
let's
probably
talk
like
about
Bonnie and
who we didn't put in
Sally.
there. Sally. Yeah, I would have put Sally in the bottom too. I don't think they would have risked putting Sally in the bottom two because I
Nope,
Chai would have sent her home for sure.
you would have. Yep,
But they could like this is like another time where like at least give her a bottom three critique to like give her a little momentum to like show her the direction she needs to go in. Said y'all are just like praising her for this bull, and I'm just like, uh, I'm sorry, but like Sally is also getting to the runway, so I don't want to say it that way, but I'm just like Sally is one of those girls that gives this to us on the runway, but you don't get anything from her in the challenges, and I'm just like, so she gets a pass, but other girls, this nothing about this judging makes any sense. I will say the correct thing though is that the elimination I do think was correct. I do think it was Chaiti Grande's time. It was probably her time last week, but um, it, at least at this point, like we're not sticking to the whole let's send the Asian UK girl home on the Snatch game. So okay, positive critiques for that. But let's
is
talk
that a
about
positive
her
thing?
talent show because like. And not positive critiques. You know what I mean. At least we're not sticking to the same old stereotypes. This time the Asian girl didn't even get to the Snatch game, so she hadn't even been sent home before that. But like, um, I don't know. Like Chai's story was non-existent. They clearly
It
had
was
no
a
idea what they
worst.
wanted to do with her. And then we get to this talent show, and it's like it's a situation where it's like the idea is there, but the execution makes no sense because it's like at some point you need to take this giant Hershey Kiss dumpling off. You should have done that. You really should have. Like that could have been easily the very last thing she did before she like pretended to like pass out. Like reveal all the crap that you have inside you. Actually, she could have even skipped the whole part where the pit crew like did the confetti thing over her because that did nothing, right? She
Well, he
could
didn't
have
get
just
close enough to her either.
yeah. She could have immediately just started like pretending to reveal like she's a sexy dumpling and had all this stuff fall out. And then all of a sudden at the like pass out, right? And then have a moment where like maybe the lights go out, have a Bonnie and Clyde moment where lights go out. And then it's like, but she's alive. And then she wakes up and she takes the dumpling off and she's in like a sexy outfit, right? Like there's something there that could have been that could be expanded upon to have like an actual really good idea, but the way that she executed this was horrible.
Send her home.
Horrible. I'm sorry. Horrible.
Look,
I can't be mad that they rigged the episode to send her home.
I don't think they rigged the episode to send her home per se, but they definitely they definitely wanted to make sure someone in the bottom was going to be able to put up at least a decent fight. Because even if you don't win the lip sync, as long as the lip sync was close enough that the other girl who's been in the bottom 3 weeks in a row needs to go home, kind of thing, right? But this was her first time lip syncing, even though she had gotten two back-to-back bottom three placements, so that was wild to begin with. But you know, just she just had this terrible like mid production value. Like she started out as a dumpling. It was funny when she came out because we didn't see it coming, and then she's like messed around with the small dumplings she had on her head. Fine. She did this little reveal of like taking off the white, like I guess I don't know if it was like more dough off the dumpling. Kind of went okay, but then you could tell she got to the end of the string a little too fast, so they cut off at that point. And then she did this tassels thing because it was supposed to be a burlesque performance, even though she never took anything off. She opened up and took out a stuffed chicken. She opened up, took off like a stuffed broccoli and everything else falling out, and everything here was just like it wasn't rehearsed, or it was someone was telling her it was good when it wasn't. Like one of her friends who's not really her friend wasn't telling her the truth, kind of thing. Like she needed a real friend in that moment to let her know, like, hey, the idea is good, the execution sucks. But her friend didn't tell her that because not a real friend. But well, I mean, real friends, real Judies will tell you straight up to your face if something is not great. They'll tell you.
Yeah, they're not
And
just being a friend isn't just yes menning everybody. Being a friend is if you have honest critiques or honest things that you need to discuss at that moment, that you bring it out to them and you have a discussion about it, and then hopefully there's a little bit of a change and you move forward. So yeah, I agree. Chai was definitely not set up, but she definitely was look at her friend group and be like, "Girl, who okayed that? Who thought this was a good idea?"
Mama, it was a setup. That is not
But
your friend. That is your foe.
I just, I mean, the only reason why I don't think I'm as upset as the masses at this moment is because it did feel like this ending was telegraphed to us for a few weeks now at some point. And I mean, it's UK. We expect the Queens of Color to never make it very far. So it
Or
has not,
one to make it to
again,
the
it has
end,
nothing to do
just
with
to be fair.
chai. Has nothing to do with chai. And maybe a little bit to do with chai, but again, another queen just like Neon Bella that I would love to just get away from RuPaul in the UK and just go on another season, and then hopefully we could maybe see what she is actually bringing to the table, because I don't know how to feel, because again, like last week, or not last week, a couple weeks ago during the girl group, like I enjoyed Chai's performance. I did not think she was as bad as everybody else was saying that she was, and then she ended up bottom three there. Last week she definitely was bottom three, bottom two even. This week, yeah, definitely for sure. I get it, but it's also a situation where it's like it could have been something possibly different in the beginning that we're seeing from her in other situations, but I I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel for Chai, but I'm also hoping that like she takes this as a learning experience, and again, we'll probably see her in the future. She's 32. She has plenty of time, girl. Like plenty of time to learn and grow. And I mean, Sasha Colby won Drag Race 15 at what, 36, 37, 38.
In my
Late
mind, Sasha
30s
Colby will never be over
are,
29 years old,
well,
so I don't know.
I'm just going to say age is nothing but a number for certain girls, especially if you're like me and you just have great skin. You don't
Sasha
age,
Colby is
but
41, so she was probably like 38 or 39.
I think she was 37 during her season because it films like the year before. So
Oh, that's
either
fair,
way,
yeah.
but like, yeah, it's still like I 32 is a great age as far as I'm concerned to learn, critique, and grow. So she has nothing but time. Uh, this season though, I don't know how much time it has left, and next week we have the Rusical, and I just don't know how to feel about the season anymore, Jack. I just don't know. I just don't know if I care to talk about it anymore. And we've been talking about it for almost an hour at this point. So I was gonna say like last week, like please give me some like parting words, give me some faith in the season, and then all we was talk about Sally and Untucked. But this week, Jack, gospel, speak the positive experience. This is the turning point, right? This is the turning point in the season where it becomes the best season of all time. Can we put that out into
No, it
existence
ain't
where it
gonna
will exist
happen.
anymore?
Here's the positive. The season is halfway over, basically, right? We have finally gotten to what, 4 eliminations now? So, really, when you think about it, there's only 4 more left. So, it's not going to be much longer. And maybe there'll be another double stay or a double sachet. But next week, when we look to a Rizical, Paige 2 is going to kill it, and then they're probably going to say, you did fine. And so, I mean, get ready for Elle Vosque or Catrin feelings
I
or
feel like this will
or
be Catrin's
Sally.
feeling. This will be Catrin's win, and they're gonna. Paige should have won, but they're gonna give to Catrin, so everybody can hate Catrin. That's what it's giving.
I mean, honestly, she's just like we're really at that moment of like, there's nothing left to even talk about. Like, there's nothing left to give. There's no hope left. Girl, it's more hopeless than anything else.
I
Just
mean,
expect the unlike Big Brother, don't expect the unexpected. Expect the most expected. Don't get your hopes up. If something unexpected does happen, it's only lasting for 1 episode, so get ready for that.
right? Yeah, there's. Yeah, we literally are halfway through the season. I don't think there's any redeeming a season, and I want to say like there is the
None of this
possibility
time.
of a season maybe having a slow start with an amazing finish, but I don't know if in Drag Race if you could
This
really
isn't a
have that.
slow start. This
There's
is not
no,
a
I
slow
don't think there's
start.
any such thing as a slow start in Drag Race because Drag Race
But
is
you
one of
just
those
said it
shows.
was.
Well, no, because there's other shows, Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, shows that actually have traders that have strategy to them. That's the reason why they have a slow start because they're trying to maybe learn the game or they're trying to understand new twists or whatnot. But in this situation, there's no excuse. There's nothing new being handed to us. The only thing new handed to us was that lucky cow that was just completely come and gone in the first episode. We're now 4 episodes past that, so it's like there's nothing coming at these girls other than Drag Race. So like there should be no real surprises at this point. And I don't believe UK is going to be the first time where they're going to premiere like a new challenge. UK is literally them trying to recreate old school Drag Race lightning in a bottle all the time. So that's why
It's
I felt like
trash.
we
Get
got
rid of
to
it.
season 7. I'm like, yeah, it's giving the season 7 curse. And some shows do not have the season 7 curse. And I will say the season 7 curse will only go down to shows that are about like judging. And like Survivor season 7, Pearl Islands, one of the top 5 seasons you'll ever watch. Big Brother 7 All Stars, eh, depending on who you like, who you don't like. But it's definitely not a bottom tier season, right? Even Amazing Race 7. Amazing Race 7 was nominated for so many awards. I'm pretty sure it won so many awards. So I'm like, when it's a
Yeah,
competition reality TV show, you could get past 7. Usually like 8 or 9 is the time where it's like you're not jumping the
I
shark,
just
but
don't believe in it.
the uh the mystique is kind of over whatnot, right? So when it
Summers
comes
Madison?
to I'm looking specifically at America's Next Top Model season 7, which is the show that RuPaul's Drag Race was based off of, and 1 through 6 iconic TV. 7 I think is the point where things start become extremely forgettable, and that's what is happening here without a doubt. I don't know anybody who's enjoying this season. I have not heard one positive thing from it. I've actually heard more content creators deciding that they're not even going to cover this season than than actually try to cover it. So it's like, yeah, it's rough. it's rough out here for us Drag Race fans, but at least we have a Spotify to look forward to, and as always, we can't wait to see how that turns out. And you know what? Hopefully, y'all can either, especially if y'all made this far in the podcast again. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. What do we want to talk about this week, Jack? How
Talk
about
about
like
how far you're gonna let Tayris go. How many more episodes? Do they let her go top 4 just to get rid of the, comments of they don't like any girls of color, or do they cut her in the next 3 weeks just because they feel like it?
I mean, honestly, I feel like that could go either way because they haven't given Tayris the win, so it's like they could definitely cut her at any point and be like,
They
"You don't
don't give
have a
her screen
win,"
time except for
and
when she's talking about Catrin.
I was gonna say she's overshadowed by Catrin, but then again, they haven't even given Catrin the win, so why makes us think that they're gonna give Tayris a win if they haven't given
Maybe
Catrin the win and they
maybe this is
love
one of
Catrin
those
clearly?
Catrin wins the whole thing, even though she never gets a win. She was just constantly in the top. Like
I don't
she's
know.
gonna pull a France.
I mean,
No, it's not
sure.
realistic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to. I do not know how to feel about this season anymore. But y'all, let
You
us know
should
how
know
you're
how to feel.
feeling.
It's trash.
Yeah, please let us know how you're feeling here. Are you going to be able to even make through it? Are you even watching this season? Should I just even like cut out UK7 from our best fashion polls at the moment? Because like I would much rather include Brazil too, honestly, at this point. But I only have
That's
time to
better.
include one more. Yeah, no, I only have time to really include because we started this idea late. Like one more internet or like one season's gonna have to get left out from 2025. I'm like, and I really just kind of want to just stop covering UK7 on this fashion poll, but we're already into it. We're already doing it. People are voting on the polls, so it's too late to stop it now. But like the way I wish I would have just planned this sooner and realized that I should have included Brazil too. But you know what? It's okay. It's fine. Uh, until next time, y'all. And on behalf of my co-caster QuackerrJack, this is Renegayde signing out. Now remember, y'all, keep swimming my teeth.
I'm jumping the ship. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Jack's dead now. Oh no, Jack, get on the lifeboat. Get on the board. Oh no, oh Jack didn't get on the door. Rose told him now. Oh, Jack just died. Never let go, Jack.